Number 2 and number 9. Currently, none of our civil liberties are protected by our tribal governments. Do you plan to address this problem? An example, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Absolutely. Currently, none of our civil liberties are protected by our tribal governments. Do you plan to address this problem? An example, freedom of speech, freedom of religion.
Yes, we would address the problem. People, are free to speak their minds and whatever they want to say. Freedom of religion is very important. Everybody has the ability and the need to have their own religion. So definitely I would, support that. Thank you.
Robbie Butler, Senior Indigenous. Yeah, as far as freedom of speech goes on this reservation, nobody has one, Nobody has a right to free speech on this reservation as far as I'm concerned. You say the wrong thing about the up above, the directors, the division directors, the RBC, and you lose your job. That's why our educated people and people with experience in business don't come back to this reservation to work after they've been gone to school. They had to come back here, they have no job stability. They would rather go work somewhere else where they could have some job stability because they know they come back here, they say the wrong word about the wrong person, division director or RBC member, they're looking for a new job the next day. Chief Leech.
As a Walker Hackensack Akeley School Board member representing Onum, how will you help with educating the Indian students in public school?
My name is John Johnson. I would get involved with the school board there and the teachers, teach them about my culture, my way of living, the way I teach my child on a one-to-one basis. Give them a little more understanding of the way we live and the way that we understand Mother Earth, and teach these people so they can teach our children the right way instead of teaching them the wrong way and treating them the way that they do treat them. It'd be meeting halfway on educating our children for the future. Where I have needs with my child as he has his ways that we live, and he has to live the other way with going to Catholic Penal School. And we just coincide, we talk, we communicate with people about it. That's how I would feel about doing that. Thank you.
Question again, please.
As a Walker Hackensack Akeley School Board member representing Onum, how will you help with educating the Indian students in public school?
I think we need to re-educate our young people as to who we are, and to educate the non-native community the differences in our cultures and lifestyles. Our wants and needs are similar, but that's where the similarities end. Our lifestyles are completely different from the non-native community. For example, the child welfare system, not all Native families qualify to take their family members in their home. That doesn't make them bad people. It's just a flawed system where our children are sent to outside the reservation, outside the Native community. But a lot of cultural awareness.
Plan about non-Leech Lakers in leading jobs. Should they be replaced with Leech Lake people?
My name is Esther Humphrey. So the question is, should non-band members basically not be able to get a job on Leech Lake? Right? I don't think your enrollment has a whole lot to do with your ability to perform a job that needs to be done. I think your desire to be of service to the people of the community is what makes you a really good worker. You know? I mean, I'm a social worker, so when I think of that, I think of, are people willing to put forth 110% effort, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day? Whether or not they're enrolled here, it doesn't matter. It's qualifications, I think. But then again, we need to start educating our own people, our young people, so that, like I said earlier, they're coming up behind us. And we're going to be relying on them soon. I've got a goal. I'm leaving in the morning to the day ceremonies over in Cedar, so I got to go home and pack up, me and my 2 kids. So I'm glad that everybody's here. I'm glad more and more people are coming out. It's good to see.
What is your plan about non-Leech Lakers in leading jobs? Should they be replaced with Leech Lake people?
Well, I think we're speaking of, is it about eliminating all non-band on this reservation? Probably not. But I think that with the amount of enrollment, the amount of members we have on this reservation, and the amount of jobs that we offer, you know, it's a predicament that we have. We don't have enough jobs to offer to all of our band members, and so some of our band members feel entitled to those positions. The positions that we do offer them, to where we don't have certain qualifications for band members to fill those positions, such as in resource management. Sometimes there's we don't have band members to fill those positions. So I think we need to identify all of those positions that maybe we can start training some of our band members to fill those positions, because there are grant requirements for a lot of our programs that require certain qualifications or experience or education to fill these positions. And so we need to start working to get our band members trained and qualified to fill these positions. So yeah, one day, hopefully, we have enough qualified band members to fill all of our positions. Yes, we wish.
How do you feel about the employment at will policy?
Hi, I'm Mike Reyes. At will employment, they should abolish it. We had a question of freedom of speech. I think as soon as you got rid of at will employment, people start speaking up, start speaking their mind, and we would hear the concerns of the people a lot more. There are people out there that still speak their mind and they don't care if they lose their job. They're still going to say it. They're not going to change their values. They're going to say what they think is right. I think one thing that we've been suffering from is people can't take constructive criticism. And get rid of at-will employment, people are going to have to start accepting it. And that's when we're going to start looking in the mirror and see our flaws. And from there, we're going to learn to grow and grow stronger as a nation. Thank you.
My name is Skip Lyons, and actually, I think the hiring on Leech Lake is like, I think probably we've got a lot of white-itis people that you can control. White people are easier to control by the government, and non-bands. I think a lot of Leech Lakers are excluded, including myself. I've been blackballed for about 30 years because I got a big home. So I don't think that the RTC should have the ability to hire and fire. I think actually the RTC should be controlled by a legislative body. That's probably the real question here. Thank you.
What is your stance on blood quantum?
Blood quantum, I think it's an issue that it's difficult for us to address. Currently, we're part of the MCT, and that's a system that we have to live by. You know, currently, right now, if we decide we want to address the issue today, we don't have that ability today. You know, like Red Lake, 2 years ago, they have that ability to address that situation. They reached out to their communities. They educated them on options that they have if they wanted to move in a different direction or if they wanted to stay the same. You know, they went to Duluth, Minneapolis, they solicited responses from people off reservation, and, you know, it went to a referendum vote. In the end, the vote was for no change, but at least they had the opportunity to do that. I wish that we could do that for Leech Lake here. I think a part of being able to do that is, you know, kind of separating ourselves from Minnesota Chippewa tribe, so we have the ability to do that, have the ability to, you know, have our own voice in the saying if we want to change the blood quantum or if we don't. If we want everything to stay the same, and if that's what the people want to do, and that's what we should do. But at least we'd have the opportunity to, you know, get the response from the communities if we choose to do that.
I had an opportunity to sit on this blood quantum thing years ago for MCT here. And I too, my mother was a Red Laker, and when we got enrolled on my dad, so we didn't get to use that portion of our blood. So it actually affected us long term. There's an unfortunate, a lot of people here that when the thing started, that they used the 1/4 blood quorum to identify what tribe you belong to, and then the programs and things that you actually would get. And it's unfortunate that 1/4 is, because there's a lot of Indians that are out there that were lineal descent, and there's also people here because of the 1961 Act that if you were born before this time and you went to lineal descent, you're tribal members, and anything born after that date, you're white guys. So there's family members that are both Indians and non-Indians, and that's unfortunate because they should have never opened up that thing. Anytime anything is opened up here, everybody here or in the community should be raising hell here, because that shouldn't happen. Be good.